Good morning and welcome to the Delco Show. This is Fiore, Executive Director of Delaware County's Brandywine Conference and Visitors Bureau, and you are listening to the Delco Show right here on iRadio Philly. The Delco Show is brought to you by and sponsored by the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, we're working in a new location this time. This may be, I think, the second show we've done here now, and it's called Headroom. Headroom is a group of suites, office space, conference rooms, if you will, at 24 Veterans Square, intersection of Veterans Square and State Street in beautiful downtown Media that rents out space very reasonably, I might add, for a day, a week, an hour, maybe a quarter hour. I don't really know. Annually, monthly, whatever you want to do. There's all sorts of plans. So, you may want to check them out for your next meeting, or you need one-on-one consultation or anything like that. But you can check them out by giving them a call at 610-548-5278. And you can call and speak to the delightful receptionist who we just had the pleasure of meeting here, Katie, and she'll take good care of you to set you up with whatever you need. The website is headroom.net. So, having said that, we can't forget Primo Hoagies, who are our sponsors for lunch. As usual, we want to thank Primo for 3 hoagies that they bring, as usual, every Delco show, and we'll find out what they are somewhere down the line. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe you'll hear me eating them. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens. We have Stephen E. Kessner II, our erstwhile technical expert from Painless Technology. And what's the name of your company again? Tech guys. Like, I know a guy. I got a guy. It's a Tech Guys. Anyway, it's our pleasure to have with us today, and I've taken some linguistic classes here. Antara Dutta, who is the CEO of Ayuvia, which is an integrative wellness center that's centered around you. Ayuvia is located at 500 Evergreen Drive in Glen Mills, PA, right in Delaware County, in the Crozier Medical Plaza at Britton Lake. Antara, welcome to the Delco Show.
Thank you for having me.
That sounds a little bit long to get those intros in, but we're going to do that a little bit with everybody, so that we can let people know about Headroom and our wonderful folks at Primo, and we go on from there. So, we chatted a little bit beforehand, and as I explained to you, I like to know, who I'm talking to. And so far, you seem like a delightful young lady, but we're about to find out, I think. That's a joke. Okay, that's a joke. Ayuvia is a combination of words, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Now, let me ask, before I get into that question, because I think maybe this will explain it better, what is Ayuvia?
Ayuvia is a concept that has now become reality at Crozier Brinton Lake Plaza that has brought together multiple aspects of alternative medicine, things that you can do in lifestyle choices you can make, treatments you can get from acupuncturist or a massage therapist. But what we have done differently is we have brought in all the different modalities of alternative medicine, and we have integrated it to your conventional care. So what that means is we work with your docs, we work with your insurance companies, and we focus on, most importantly, preventing, but when that's not possible, managing chronic illness. The symptoms, the pain, and making it easier for those with complicated issues and health challenges lead better life every day.
So having said that, and you using the words, massage and acupuncture, Ayuvia is a combination of 2 words.
That's right.
Tell us what they are.
So our brand is our mission. Ayu in Sanskrit means long life, and via in Latin means path. And what we do is bring the best practices of Eastern and Western medicine to pave a path for our clients to live long and healthy lives.
Now, just so you folks know that Ayuvia is spelled Ayuvia, and the website is ayuvia.com, AYUVIA.com, and their phone number is 610-358-8822. So, Antara, it's alternative medicine. And allow me to just kind of elaborate on that because I know enough about it to get me in trouble. Okay? My wife had a dear friend from Romania who came to this country a long time ago and worked diligently, and became a registered nurse. And then she continued to take classes through the years and became a certified acupuncturist, and then a certified, I guess, I don't want to say masseuse, but a massage therapist, I guess is the proper name for it. So, and I got to tell you, my wife, every once in a while, because she's a closet horticulturist, so she's always working in the gardens, moving stuff and everything, and she's a tiny little thing, okay? You make her look tall, okay?
That's almost not possible.
Trust me. Anyway, and off and on, her back would bother her. And Lydia would come over, and Plugado was her last name. Yeah, Lydia Plugado would come over and use acupuncture and do massages for her. And my wife would always say, it works. You know, you see all these different things where people are skeptical about, call it alternative medicine. Some people call it, and again, I'm not going to mix words here, voodoo medicine.
Yes.
Okay? But that medicine has been around longer than conventional medicine.
Yes.
So where did this idea come from that you had to found this company 4 years ago?
So I actually have been wanting to do this more than 15 years. I personally went through some health issues in my 20s. And
so that was about 2 or 3 years ago.
That's right.
You're welcome.
Just right before I founded the company in my 20s, I realized that if you have chronic symptoms that are a little complicated or probably caused due to multiple reasons, and it's not treatable through surgery, or there isn't a blockbuster pharmaceutical drug that can kind of magically address it, you're kind of on your own. Between the healthcare payment system, what insurance pays for and doesn't, and physicians and providers, how much time they can spend on educating patients if there is no imminent interventional therapies that they can do, is you are left on your own to first find out what are your options, because you have to still live your life and live with those chronic issues that pose impediments every day, and then figure out which ones to choose from. There was a period in my life I would go on WebMD, which, by the way, my husband does not allow me to do anymore, because I became a professional hypochondriac. You go and research a myriad of symptoms, and you go from a pimple to tumor in 2 minutes.
My wife is the same way, so I feel for your husband.
And you take a type A personality who can do a lot of research, and I'm connecting dots and going places that makes no sense, and freaking myself out. So what ended up happening in the long run was, I drew from sources and connections that I had back home. I am from India originally, to make changes in my lifestyle, my food. There were nutrition issues, and gradually claimed my life back. And I realized that if you are not from or somehow connected to a culture or a country or a community that has access to these kind of options, a regular consumer will not know where to begin, will not know what's reliable and quality and what's not. And in some cases, if you do find like a Canyon Ranch, you can't invest that kind of money because it's so expensive that it's almost cost prohibitive for mainstream population to access that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and let me stop you there for a second, because you had said something a few moments ago, about you're talking about that blockbuster drug. I hate drugs. I don't like taking them. I've had broken ribs just recently, as a matter of fact, from playing ball this past summer or so. They give you these painkillers. I don't take them. Now, I may have a high threshold of pain. Okay, fine. I've broken more bones than Carter's got little liver pills, over my years playing ball and sports and everything, or just being clumsy. But I don't like drugs. I don't like to take them. If I can avoid taking them, I will, because to me, that's only, they may help you, but they also can hurt you, and they scare me. I'd be more prone to think, let me get the massage, let me get the acupuncture, than putting that. And then you see all these nutrition things where take 2 of these every day, not a steroid, this, that, and the other thing. Get the hell out of here. I guess what you guys also look at Ayuvia is a healthy a healthy eating pattern,
yes,
and all that stuff too.
Yes. We take a very holistic approach. So we look at nutrition a couple of different ways. We have dietitians who are your clinically licensed, working with patients that have had surgery or getting ready for surgery. For example, if you're getting ready to have a bariatric surgery, it's a 1-year prep. Tremendous amount of lifestyle changes and nutrition changes. Or you are diabetic and you really need to count and measure every milligram of what you are eating or drinking. We have an extreme clinical regimen for patients like that. We also have an integrative nutritionist and a health coach that comes at it from a behavioral perspective, teaches you how to shop, how to cook, how to pack lunch, how to eat when you're ordering out in a restaurant. And then the other interesting thing we add to that, especially for those that are looking to lose weight, especially for health reasons, they're pre-diabetic or the cardiovascular risks, is we have behavioral health specialists, psychotherapists that will work on teaching you how to address food addiction, if you will. Mm-hmm. We also have dance therapy, so we have nonverbal forms of therapy.
Oh, neato!
To
so it's
modify.
It's a little fun and games too. Then.
Absolutely.
I may call you.
Absolutely, anytime.
Because I always wanted
to
learn
the house.
I always wanted to learn how to salsa.
That might be a stretch. I don't know how therapeutic salsa is. Definitely for the heart.
Now, please tell me though, when you were talking about, they teach you how to cook. Okay, please tell me that it's still okay and good to cook with Italian olive oil.
I am sure it is, but I'm not a licensed nutritionist, so on radio I will not recommend or endorse.
I'm taking your word for it.
Let's go with that.
I never let the facts get in the way of a good story, okay?
Let's go with that. Or get in the way
of the truth. Let's go with that.
Let's go with that.
Olive oil's good.
Yes.
I use it all the time.
Extra virgin, I believe.
Extra virgin, absolutely. It ain't cheap, but it's really good. Cheap. We got about a minute and a half in the first segment left here. Give me a Reader's Digest version. What's your background that got you into this?
My background is finance and marketing. And the reason I thought I should bring that background to this is I believe the alternative medicine overall in the States is very fragmented. There is no brand, and it has not been brought to market in a productized fashion. Yeah.
Well, and again, and then we get into something that we talk about, licensed practitioners, things of that nature. And you're right about that. It needs to be consolidated and brought under one roof. And then when we come back from this little break, we're going to take Antara. I want to talk to you about of how all this ties in with Crozier, because you have a nice arrangement or partnership with Crozier. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with, and she taught me how to say this, so I think I'll get it right, Antara Dutta, who's the CEO. Was that good?
That is very good.
Thank you very much. Is the CEO of Ayuvia. It's an integrative wellness program that's located on Evergreen Drive in Glen Mills. Ayuvia, AYUVIA.com, or give them a call at 610-358-8822. This is Tori Fiore, and we will be right back on iRadio Philly. Welcome back to the Delco Show. This is Tori Fiore, and you're listening to the Delco Show, brought to you by the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce, right here on iRadio Philly. We're having a delightful conversation and learning a whole heck of a lot from Antara Dutta, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Ayuvia, which is an integrative wellness organization that works with individuals, with all sorts of different illnesses, problems, possible problems, everything like that. And their website is Ayuvia, AYUVIA.com. The phone number is 610-358-8822. Give them a call or check their website out, located right in Glen Mills, PA. We are in our new surroundings called the Headroom here on 24 Veterans Square, intersection of Veterans Square and State Street in beautiful downtown Media. It's a group of suites, ladies and gentlemen, large, small, in between, that some are soundproof, that is a great place if you're a small business, a sole proprietor, whatever, and you just need a meeting room for one-on-one business, you're working out of your home, whatever, or a conference room, and the rates are absolutely unbelievably, I mean, I almost want to, economic I want to call them cheap, but the place is such a great looking place that you can't use that word. But man, it's a great deal, folks. You can get memberships, I believe, Stephen E. Kessler was mentioned to me when we first talked to them, for $300 a year, which gives you complete access to this facility. So there's got to be at least 7 or 8 different rooms here, a big foyer and lobby and waiting area. I mean, it's really nice. And Katie is a delight as the receptionist. She's an absolute treat. A former weather lady from down south, believe it or not, okay? And we can't forget Primo Hoagies. Primo. All sorts of Italian hoagies and other kind of hoagies, but we're just calling it Italian-type hoagies. Baltimore Pike and Media, they do a great job for us every program. So, again, a little shout-out thank you to Primo Hoagies. And Rob or Robert, I forget how you'd like to be called, thank you, as usual, for the great job in dropping these off today. Now, let's get back to the reason why we're doing this program and speak with Antara, who's the CEO of Ayuvia. Antara, we were talking about before the break that you have a relationship or a partnership of some sort with Crozier.
That's right.
Tell me what. I know your offices are in the Crozier building down in Glen Mills, by Britton Lake Shopping Center. But I mean, what's the relationship? How does that work? Where did it come about?
So as I was bringing Ayuvia to life, one of the key things that I wanted to keep front and center is this is not just alternative, but it's integrative. So what that means is we have to be able to connect with your primary care physician if you're coming to us on a prevention kind of a route, or to your specialists if you've already been diagnosed and you have ongoing treatments.
And that's what you mean by integrated?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we wanted to do is, instead of connecting with one doctor at a time, we wanted to connect it to larger hospital systems. And I evaluated different organizations around here, and Crozier was very progressive, very welcoming. They saw value in their doctors partnering with us, in recommending that their patients come to us for specific conditions where alternative medicine have been shown to make a difference. Mm-hmm. While it's not the same as, you would have clinical trials for pharmaceuticals, there are studies, however, that illustrate in pockets of scenarios. For example, if somebody is trying to conceive and is going through in vitro fertilization, there are studies that show that when you do acupuncture in addition, the rates of conception go up significantly.
Wow.
So when you go into pockets of things like that, we are located at the building in Crozier, Brinton Lake, that houses the cancer center downstairs of us. So when you're going through a cancer diagnosis, it can be extremely emotionally overwhelming. So, there is a behavioral health side that you need help in coping with the diagnosis and living with cancer long term. When you're going through a chemotherapy or radiation, there are so many side effects that you struggle with that acupuncture or massage can temporarily relieve. So this partnership brings value to a shared community of patients with pockets of needs that can be helped in addition to what the medical treatments are providing.
Okay.
That's where the relationship developed with Crozier. And we work very, very closely together with their physicians, not just in Brinton Lake, but around the Delaware County.
Well, and I took a quick peek at your website, and it really runs the gamut. It's very vast, but and three things I looked at that, again, as I said before, I know just enough to get in trouble. Cancer survivorship. Family with that and all sorts of stuff. Knock on wood, God bless me. Joint pain, and the one that caught me because it's a great story, were migraines.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you about migraines.
Yes, and I will tell you about migraines too. Oh,
Okay.
my God.
Now,
Take life over.
I don't think they were called migraines back then when I was 6 or 7. So, I mean, you're going back a long way. Let me put it this way.
Yeah, my 25-year-old life, I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know Antara. Antara, let me explain something to you, okay? I have grandchildren closer to your age, okay, than I am to your age. All right, just saying.
All right.
Okay? So you're trying to hold that laugh in. Don't let me stop you, okay?
Yeah.
Because if you can't take a compliment graciously, we're going to have a problem for the rest of this show. Anyway, so my Italian grandmothers, okay, my father, when he would have what was then a headache, okay, they would do something called, I don't remember what it is in Italian, but it was the overlooks. Now the overlooks, I go figure, but it worked. My grandmothers, both sides, would take a ring off of you who has the headache. It was just for headaches. That's all it worked. Just headaches. Okay. No colds, no nothing, just headaches. A ring off you or your belt. And they would take the ring, and I don't know if you won't be able to see it, folks, but I'll show Antara. And she would knead the ring with her fingers like this and say prayers in Italian, and that got rid of the headache.
Wow.
And it was called the overlooks. So, it's just some, there's weird, there's very strange customs in every nationality.
Yes.
Okay? So I guess where I'm going with this, because I didn't know where the hell I was going with this until I said, I can segue into this now, okay? When you have new clients coming to you, and I'll get to how they get to you eventually, but they're coming to you. Never used you before, never did any acupuncture, massage, dietetics, health, never did any of that, okay? Aren't they a little skeptical?
Yes.
How do you overcome that?
We actually have a couple of ways we overcome that. One is by working with your doctor, and your doctor reinforcing where it might help you gives the client a little bit more comfort that this cannot harm me. If my doctor says try this out, at bare minimum, it should not be harming me.
But are the doctors educated and knowledgeable enough? Do you train them to?
We are working closely in getting them educated.
Okay.
We are very lucky to be neighboring with a GI practice, Dr. Joanne Crozier, not the Crozier Hospital,
right.
Crozier. And she sees value in some of our services, and she has walked over patients to us. So in a situation like that, when we have a warm handoff, and then we continue to keep in touch with the physician as to how their patients are doing, that starts to take away from that, is this going to work for me? That skepticism can be worked on. The other thing that we do, if it's somebody coming to us that's not a referral and have no context, we have an easy way of onboarding, and we call it, for simplicity's sake, try any or try all. And what that means is you get abbreviated 20-minute education sessions with any one of our practitioners.
So you get an on-hands menu?
Yes.
Oh, neato.
And they'll walk you through, and they will explain. My sister, for example, is extremely afraid of needles. So they would just do a little one to see if you like it. If you don't, then we would explore an acupressure or a massage pad. Mm-hmm. But we want our clients.
Acupressure instead of puncture.
Yes, so not use the needle.
Interesting.
Because the
okay.
acupoints is actually how you go about addressing
well, listen,
problems.
I feel for your sister because when I get, when I get a blood test, okay, and they go in, I mean, this is the way I am, okay? I turn my head, I put my arm out like this, and I hold my breath.
Yeah.
And that's what I do, and I just try to forget about it, and then it's done. I'm not a fan.
Most people are not fan
Never
of
been
needles.
a fan.
These are, however, very, very thin needles.
Oh, I know.
Like
I've
your
seen
hair.
them. Yeah,
Yes.
I've seen them. Yeah, you know. So you can get these folks to overcome this skepticism then.
Through education.
Okay. I also saw on your website you're now taking insurance.
Yes.
So tell me what you had to go through, or what, you know. I mean, is it? Are you taking every kind, or is it a specific kind, or is it? You know, I mean, give me a.
So we've
general
started
idea.
partnering with third-party billers that have a little more experience in this than us. What was very, very helpful is that with the reform and the changes in the healthcare system, more and more providers, healthcare insurance providers, are realizing that there are low-cost solutions that can help prevent high-cost surgeries later on. So it is a combination. Sometimes it's reimbursed on the back end, so you pay up front and then get reimbursed. Sometimes it can be directly billed. It completely depends upon what is your diagnosis, what is your doctor's referral, and what types of treatments you're going for.
Okay, now at the Glen Mills at the Crozier Medical Plaza, do you do a lot of this treatment there?
Yes.
Do you also do what I'm going to call house calls? Do you go in-home?
We have not gone in-home, but one of the things we are now branching out into is doing small business wellness programs. So large corporations have their own corporate wellness programs, but the smaller businesses don't have the benefit, the economies of scale to do that.
Okay.
So we are trying to create membership programs, and we'll be working with local chambers of commerce to do this, where they can access. We've started doing it by doing community health events, and we're trying to figure out how to best make it accessible and affordable for small business owners.
So your acupuncturists, your massage therapists, your dietitians, all those folks, are they employees or are they contractors? I mean, are they there all the time, or is it by appointment only?
It's mostly by appointment only, and the reason is we have multiple of each type of modalities because people specialize on different things. So we try to make sure that we align you to the best experience in that modality, let's say acupuncture, based on what your need is. So if you're coming in for joint pain or a sports injury versus you're going through cancer treatment, it's a little different.
Is there a specific, you almost hate that, is there a specific injury or illness that you see a lot more of than the other?
Yes, I think migraine is a very common one. Headaches, chronic headaches.
Really, I just made a guess on that.
That's a very common one. Joint pain, back pain, neck pain. Getting injured while working out. There's a lot of folks that want to go back to working out quickly. So
right,
the short-term acute.
It's like those crazy cyclists who, right after the day it snows, have to get back on their bikes and start riding, and you've got snowdrifts that you're running into. Don't get me started, okay? Don't get me started, Antara. I'm telling you right now. Can you make appointments outside operating hours if it's inconvenient?
Yes. We are very
at your offices.
At our offices, you can do evenings, you can do weekends. Our therapists, our healers want to work with you the best they can. They're very flexible.
I've got to get out of here in 50 seconds. But just tell me, if someone wants to get started, what do they do?
They just call us.
And that number is 610-358-8822.
And we will take care of everything from there.
So, Ayuvia, ladies and gentlemen, Antara Dutta, who's the Chief Executive Officer, it's an integrated wellness program that's tied in with Crozier Health Systems, and they're located in Glen Mills. Give them a call, check them out. Antara, this was a delight and an education. Thank you for being with us on the Delco Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, it was my pleasure. Believe me, you're an absolute delight and well-versed in the subject, believe me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Torrey Fiore. You have been listening to the Delco Show on iRadio Philly. The Delco Show is brought to you by the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce. See you next week.